Wealth Nation, if you want to control money, there's only one thing that you have to do. My name is Carmen.
And I'm Darius. And when it comes to controlling money, it's easier than we think.
Or easier.
Yeah, we're not going to bore you with the fact that the banks do it and the fact that the banks don't own capital. They just control ours, and we, on a weekly basis, send our money to the bank and they use our deposits to lend money. We're not going to bore you with that.
We have a bunch of other videos talking about that.
Yeah, we have a ton of other videos talking about that.
Today is a real talk moment.
Yeah, but one thing we do want to share with you is for those of you who have frequented our channel, you know that Carmen and I, we got completely out of debt. How many years ago was that?
Completely out of debt? 5 years ago? Yeah. 5 years ago?
We got completely out of debt some time ago. And what happened was we actually used the Dave Ramsey University
Financial
Peace University. And we were completely out of debt. And from that point, what we wanted to do is have some way in which we can make money. So we went to this financial guru. We went to this program and we sat there for 2 days straight learning about real estate. And what happened next?
Wait, hold on. We have to paint the picture because it was so much more dramatic than that, I feel like.
You're a better storyteller than me.
Well, we have our days. With Financial Peace University, we were paying off Darius's student loans and our 2 cars and a few other, miscellaneous kind of bills that we had. And so we were really diligent. Like, we lived off of one income. We were eating beans and rice and beans. Like, we skimmed back on everything. And literally every extra dollar that we had was going to pay off debt.
Yeah.
And then once we finally got out of debt in like record time, the very next weekend, I coerced Darius into going to this real estate guru program
that you heard on the radio.
That I heard on the radio. Yeah, and he was fighting me tooth and nail. He was like, "I am not going to this thing. It's probably a scam. We're not doing this." And I was like, "Let's just see what it's about." So, anyways, we went and we both were super excited and thrilled about everything that we heard, and we got emotional. We got emotional. And they were speaking to us, man. They were speaking to those heartstrings. We wanted to be wealthy. We wanted to flip houses. We wanted all these things. In hindsight, we recognized we didn't want it, but they were hella presenters. Yeah. And so we recognized very quickly, like, all right, how can we get into this program? We have to get into this program. We have to do this. And next thing you know, the bill was 20 grand. And we're like, we don't have 20 grand. Where are we going to get 20 grand from? And then they teach you how to be creative with financing and things like that. Where are you going to get the money from?
They teach you how to get on the call with your credit card company and get you
your credit limit
extended.
That should have been a red flag from the get-go.
It is now, but without the experience, then no. But now we can share it with you that we made an emotional decision. And if you want to control your money, you have to take the emotion away from it.
But to sum everything back up, right? It was Friday, we paid off our debt. Saturday, we went to this workshop, and the same credit card that we just paid completely down to zero on Friday was maxed out back to 20 grand on Saturday. And it was almost as if like everything that we had done was for naught. And that there is a silver lining to this. So I'm not complaining whatsoever. I'm just saying, going through the journey, it was like, you just got out of debt. Now you put yourself right back in debt. Darius and Carmen, did you learn nothing? And the reason why we justified this purchase was because we were investing in ourselves. We were going to make money back very quickly and we had no idea how that was going to happen, but we were going to make the money back. It was going to work out. And in some instances, this can work for people, but for us, that wasn't our juice. It didn't work for us that way. And so with that lesson, we recognize that every single time we make mistakes is because we're being emotional.
Right. And the thing that really got us is the fact that we worked our way so hard to get to zero, to then go and spend $20,000 and drop back down to the negatives. We had to look up to see the bottom.
Yeah.
And that's not a really good feeling, a good place to be in when it comes to being in debt. And it all came from emotion. Even after the fact, even after we kind of spiraled out of control there, we're trying to invest money into this business, money that we didn't have through debt, try to invest money into our real estate business. It was an emotional experience that we had, and the emotion was all centered around money.
Mm-hmm.
And the more emotional we got, the further behind we got.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like quicksand. The harder you fight, then
the worse it is.
The worse it is. The worse it is.
The further you sink.
Exactly, because we weren't making logical decisions.
Mm-hmm. So if you all haven't figured it out right now, the one thing that you need to be able to figure out in order to control money is your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be emotional when we are talking about the subject of money, because money is not emotional. Money is simply paper, and you have to understand how to leverage this tool for your benefit. And I think it just really goes to show all of the opportunities that come our way. Are they really opportunities for now? Or are they opportunities for the future? Mm-hmm. Nobody ever says that you have to do something absolutely right now today. You might need to think about it, take a few breaths, sleep on it, whatever it is, and recognize, is this opportunity that's coming my way really something that I need to do right now? Mm-hmm. Is it going to put me further behind financially than my financial goals and everything that we're doing? And what Darius and I recognized very quickly was we didn't have clarity in our journey. Mm-hmm. And so because we didn't have clarity, we were then making more and more mistakes. So things like vision boards, things like goal setting, plastering it up on your walls everywhere where you can see is really, really important for you to do, so that you can understand the path that you need to take so that you can stay on track.
And the why behind the decisions that you make. Mm-hmm. Because let's think about it. When you go into a bank and ask for money, does any emotion come into play? You can go in there and cry and scream and yell, but you're not going to get what you want unless it makes logical sense for the bank to give you that money.
Very good point.
But the steps that it takes for you to get to the bank, all the advertisements and things that you saw prior to that, all the advertisements are geared towards our emotion, because mm-hmm. we are emotionally connected to our pockets.
Oh, yeah.
So if you can separate the emotion from logic, then you can do a better job controlling your money and make more logical decisions.
Whew. I thought that was really powerful. I'm glad that you compared it to the bank. I know we said we weren't going to talk about the banks in this video, but I think it is also good to know too, if you think about it, the bank is only going to lend to you if you also have a good track record.
Yes. They're looking at the numbers.
Think about that perspective. So every time you go to want to spend money or want to invest in something or do something, just ask yourself, would the bank give me money for it?
Right.
And sometimes that will help keep your emotional compass in check, because you know that I can't go to the bank and ask for 20 grand for this real estate program when I have nothing to show for it and no guaranteed payback that this money is going to come back.
Right.
So that would have been a nice little check if we knew that up front.
Exactly. And basically when the bank looks at your credit score, they basically quantified your emotional spending so that they can make a logical decision. The decisions,
yeah.
The decisions that we make, what numbers are we looking at? Are we just looking at a commercial, the nice fancy car with the nice couple driving up to the really nice house with the solar panels on the roof?
You like those commercials?
Yeah, I do like those commercials.
The solar panels.
The solar panels. But still, it's an emotional decision. Do you see yourself in the family that you're watching on television and you want to look or feel the same way they do? Mm-hmm. It's emotional.
Mm-hmm. And going back to like what I said, it's easy to be persuaded if you are not in check with your goals. Mm-hmm. Because we were very much persuaded into this real estate program. Granted, we learned a ton. Like I said, I'm not complaining. Everything has a silver lining. We learned so much, and we wouldn't be the people we are today without having gone through this. Mm-hmm. What I am saying is, if we knew what we wanted, we would have known up front, hey, we don't want to chase contractors around. We want to get invested. We want to be involved in real estate, but we don't want to wholesale. We don't want to knock doors in 100-degree weather summers in Phoenix, Arizona.
But we didn't know it until we did it. It was because we didn't educate ourselves ahead of time. Mm-hmm. Like, education is free. Mm-hmm. We have the internet.
YouTube University. Y'all are watching us for free right now.
Exactly. We have education right here on our phones that we can access for free. Mm-hmm. But it takes work in order for us to mine that information that we need. So let's put into work, educate ourselves so that when we start making decisions, we're making it from a logical standpoint versus an emotional standpoint. Because emotion, we can never satisfy our emotion. There's no amount of money that can satisfy our emotion. And a good example of that would be someone that wins the lottery. They win the lottery without having a plan in place, and 8 times out of 10, those people end up with not having money because they're making decisions on emotion. They're making decisions based on, okay, if I wasn't able to afford the Ferrari, now that I won $50 million, I can now buy this Ferrari, this Bentley, this Bugatti, and these fancy houses in these different places. And they look up and that money isn't being replaced.
No.
So they made emotional decisions without doing their due diligence and making it more logical.
Absolutely. And I think when we talk about banking, when we talk about financial independence or whatever it is, for us, it always leads to a banking system. And the reason being is because we mimic everything that we do off of the banks. So like we said, today's video is about emotions and not letting your emotions determine the transactions that you make. So if you are interested in learning how to create your own banking system so that you can become your own bank and create the financial independence that you seek, then definitely click on the link in the description. We would love to serve you. So going back to the emotions, we were watching another video on YouTube that I feel really just embodies how our emotions play in these transactions. So Target, right? God, Target gets me every time.
Yeah, Target.
How many times you go to Target to get one thing? What was it? We went to Target to get diapers. We came back with $200 worth of stuff.
You came back with $200. Sorry, this is live. I'm being emotional right now.
So anyways, no, but it's true. We go in for one thing, and the next thing you know, it's like, oh, I need this. Granted, we actually did need the stuff because baby stuff, you're just constantly buying stuff. But it is easy to be like, oh, that's on sale. Let me grab that. That's on sale. Let me grab that. Oh, this thing I've been looking for all the time is on sale now. Let me grab that. Next, you know, you have a cart full of stuff, and in addition to the diapers that you go,
and everything is organized in a way for you to buy more and more. Even the color schemes that these companies use, the symbols and stuff that they use, it kind of gets you to buy more things than what you need. And even when we see sales, things really aren't on sale.
Yeah. Before we have a good little ditty about sales that we need to talk about. But you were talking about the stores and how they're set up. I wanted to chime in on that point. Stores and how they're set up. I learned this because I work for Coca-Cola, and I used to work with the marketing and the sales when you go into these grocery stores and when you go into any store that sells Coca-Cola, right? So when you go to the checkout counter and you see that there's, you know, maybe a display right at the checkout counter, it's convenient for the consumer, right? Oh yeah, I need 20 bottles of hand sanitizer. Oh, the sunblock. Yeah, I need that. Whatever it is set up by the company. They specifically put these products and services right at the checkout line because that is their last opportunity to sell you something else before you walk out the door. So think about all these things. This isn't out of convenience. This is out of marketing and sales for these companies. They strategically place their products all over the store in I keep saying strategic, but in a strategic way because they're constantly viewing and psychologically tapping into the mind of the consumer. So now that you know this information, you may be shopping differently because when you think about everything that's surrounding you, it was put there on purpose. It was put there for one reason, and that reason is for you to buy. So to put that in, keep that in perspective. So sales, I want to talk about sales.
So when it comes to sales, like this coffee mug, for example, if I was to go to a store, if I was to go to a store and see that this coffee mug is on sale for 30% off, 40% off. It was $10. Now it's $6. I'm more emotionally inclined to buy it because I see that it was discounted. But at the end of the day, it only costs $1 to make this coffee cup. So is it really on sale, or is that a marketing tool to get you to buy something emotionally rather than logically? Walmart is good with this, where they have the rollbacks or
Yeah, roll back. I think that's what it's called.
Well, with the smiley face. They are good for saying that this is on sale, this is on sale. The magazines that we see that has like everything that's on sale in the store, this is to get you to make an emotional purchase.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on sale when you go and you check out and you say, oh, I saved 30%. I only spent, $6 instead of 10. No, you actually spent $6.
Mm-hmm.
You spent money.
Yes. Yeah, I think
on something you didn't need.
That's the image that we need to portray, because so many times we justify our purchases based off of how much it cost because it's on sale. So exactly like you were talking about, is you need to look at the sticker price and realize, okay, if this item was $100 and now I'm paying $75 for it, you're still having to spend money to get it. Yes, it is less $25, but you still had to spend $75 to get this thing when you may not have needed it in the first place.
Right.
So sales is another psychological play that a lot of these marketing agencies are able to pump into you, because it's making you think, oh, I'm not going to spend as much money on this situation.
Yeah, keyword spending. There's a difference. There's a difference between spending money and using money. Spending money, it goes out and it never comes back. You exchange money for this coffee mug.
Mm-hmm.
When you use money, that money comes back with friends.
Mm-hmm.
Money is supposed to be used.
Yes.
Those marketing dollars that the companies are putting into the company, they're using funds because those marketing things come back with friends. They come back because you spend money based on the the illogical or emotional decisions that you make based on the marketing that you've seen.
Yeah. So if you all are still rocking with us, definitely hit the like button. Let us know that you are picking up what we're putting down. The true free thing that comes, or excuse me, the true sale is when you don't have to pay for anything. I would think that's a sale. That's a come up, because you didn't have to physically spend money in order to make this thing happen. So today's video is just, again, all about making sure that you take on your spending in a different light. Every time you go to spend or swipe your card, create any sort of transaction, you need to ask yourself a few questions. And I think the first question is, can I afford this?
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest one that you need to ask. Can I afford this? Is this transaction right now going to put me behind? Is this going to affect tomorrow, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday? Is this going to affect next week? The next thing is, do I need this?
Right. Because just like how we went into that store for diapers and came out with $200, how many times do you think we've done that? And that added up to $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 that we could have used to invest. If we all just could have controlled our emotion and made logical decisions and used that money to make more money.
Absolutely. And that's exactly it. The volume. We're talking about the volume. How many Target trips do you go on? Target, giant grocery store, Whole Foods, whatever it is. How many times do you go into these grocery stores, these stores in general? How many time you go there for a few things and you come back with a few $100s more, $50 more, it doesn't have to be that, but just think about that. That adds up so quickly. And that's why the majority of Americans continue to live paycheck to paycheck.
78%.
That's why, how much debt is the average American?
6,255, I think.
But who's counting? and the average interest rate?
20%.
20%. Like it's alarming to see, as consumers, how negligent we can be with our own finances.
Yeah.
And it all just goes back to this psychology. We're just not taught this. We don't understand how marketing works. We don't understand how sales work. And when I started working for Coca-Cola back in the day for my corporate job, I recognized, like, whoa, this is powerful. Like the how everything is arranged, there's a meaning and a purpose for literally how everything is showcased in a store, because it is all about influencing the consumer to do this. Grab it and put it in your cart.
Yep. And they even have to pay a premium to be on the top shelf.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So another thing that emotionally ties us to our spending, or doesn't tie us to our spending, is the fact that we use cards instead of using cash. And we learned this very important detail when we were doing Financial Peace University, where we had to use the envelope system.
Yeah.
And we had to basically use cash to spend. And when we did that, we had an emotional attachment to the fact that when we gave money, we felt it go away. We felt it
you have a relationship with it.
Yeah, exactly.
When you touch it and it's tangible, it's like, wait a second, there goes 20. There's another 20. Hold on. I want to take this 20 back.
Yeah.
Because you see it, but you don't see it with a debit card.
Yeah, you don't have the emotional attachment when you use a debit or a credit card.
And that's why you see with children now these days too. All they see is their parents swipe, and they have no emotional, not that it's emotion, that they have no, what's the word that I'm trying to think of?
Connection?
Yeah, thank you. Connection. They have no connection to money. All they see is a plastic thing doing this,
Yeah.
so that they can't really understand the value of things and how much things cost.
Even the new Monopoly games uses card and not cash anymore.
We were so upset. My nephew loves Monopoly, and so every time we're with him, we always have to play Monopoly. And so he brought out his new, Monopoly game because we wore the other one out, and it had a swiper. And we're like, what is this? How does this work? So we're like, no, we have to go back on Amazon and get the one with the money, because this credit card thing is, you gonna learn about money.
Yeah. So as a society, we become callous to spending money. And that is a good thing if you have a business, or if you're a business owner, or if you're a large company like the Walmarts or Target.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are everyday person that works really hard for your money, it's not good.
Yeah.
Because being callous with the way that you spend your money and not with the way you make your money, it doesn't go together.
No, it doesn't.
So you should, the way you go and you make your money, you work hard and you think logically on how you go about doing this. Mm-hmm. You should have that same effort, same work into how you spend it. Mm-hmm. Because that way you spend it really dictates how you live the rest of your life when you retire.
Absolutely.
The decisions that you make right now really affect how you live the rest of your life after retirement.
Yeah, because it goes back to the volume that we were talking about. You continue to spend without understanding the implications of your spending. And next thing you know, you're 65 years old trying to figure out how you're going to afford your retirement. Mm-hmm. Because you just keep spending and you haven't learned from the previous years, and you continue with those same habits.
Right. And the reason why we're having this conversation is when it comes to infinite banking, it's all about controlling your own money.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people think that if they get in a life insurance policy, they start doing infinite banking, then they'll learn it. No, you're supposed to learn it prior to that. Mm-hmm. That's why we're having this conversation, because we have conversations with people all the time who want to get started with infinite banking. And we have to be the ones that say, no, I don't think this is a good time for you. There's some things that you need to fix first.
Yep.
So what we're hoping is that you watch this video and you identify whether or not you're an emotional or a logical spender and make the necessary adjustments. And if infinite banking is something that you're interested in, make sure you click on the link in the description. And what we'll do is you'll watch a video, and then you'll fill out an application, and then that application will go to one of our specialists. Mm-hmm. That will create a detailed policy based on the goals that you want to attain
and that you want to accomplish
in your specific life.
Absolutely. But we got to make sure that we curtail the emotional spending up front, because exactly to your point, if you think that banking is going to change your life, it's not, because really what changes your life is you and your actions.
The decision may be emotional and not logical.
Amen to that.
Infinite banking should be a logical decision, not emotional.
So what I'm going to do, I've been looking at some of the comments on the side. I'm just going to jump in really quickly because we're live. We always like to acknowledge our viewers. Thank you all so much for continuing to rock with us and support the Wealth Nation channel. If you aren't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. It's like 50% of our audience is not subscribed to our channel. Please subscribe. It's the wrong number. Go ahead.
It's 78%.
See, exactly. I already knew when I said it. I was like, Darius is going to critique me. The numbers man over here. Got to love him. All right. So let's see what happens. We're big fans. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Eric. Student loan payoff tips. That's a really good point.
You know,
where you want to go there?
What really helped Carmen and I is we lived on one income for a long time. When we got out of debt, we lived only on one income. Mm-hmm. And we kind of kept that going all the way through, even to now. Carmen and I, we both get paid the same amount from our businesses, but we still live off of one income.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you're done.
So the reason why that's important for us is because way back when, before, I guess both people worked in the household, it was the fact that one person went to work, person stayed. I know things aren't like that anymore, but once we went into one of the wars, what war was that? Where women started going into the manufacturing to build things for the war. It was more beneficial for the government to start saying or advertising the fact that you should have two incomes. But the two incomes just means that the government makes more money on taxes.
Stimulus. You stimulated the economy.
Yeah, but in our case, we realized that we were able to keep more money by just using one income. And also you're able to keep more money if you just have one person working in the household. Now that worked out for us, but we just want to make sure that you guys start thinking differently or thinking, running the numbers about how you go about, I guess, running your finances. So when it comes to student loans and payoff, make sure you make it a priority to pay off your student loans. What really worked for us is the fact that we use one income just to pay off all of our debt, and the other income was to maintain the expenses.
Yeah, and with student loans, it's all about crunching the numbers, Mr. David. So for crunching those numbers, understanding, okay, what are your minimum payments? How much more from my income could I allocate to paying off these student loans? And then doing the number to figure out how long it's going to take you. Now, if it's going to take another 20 years for you to knock out those student loans, then it may behoove you to use your money in a different fashion. And what I mean by that is to go get cash flow. Go invest in something where you can bring back cash flow that will help you pay off your student loans. So that way someone else is paying off your student loans and not you. And that way your money is out working, producing money, and not just putting a debt down. This goes for all debts. Make sure that you do the numbers to determine, does it make more sense for me financially to pay off this debt? Or can I take the same amount of money and do more with it? So if you can do more with it, go invest, go get that cash flow, and let the cash flow pay off the student loans.
Yeah. Another recommendation, or another option, not a recommendation, another option could be just doing a debt snowball, because within your student loans, at least with my student loans, there's like 10 different loans, and they have a variety of different interests. So what I did is I focused on paying more money, or $20 extra on one. And once that got paid off, I took that that expense and rolled it over into the next one. That way I was paying double on the next largest student loan expense
balance.
Yeah, the next largest balance.
So the next person says, where can I purchase a whole life insurance policy with you too? Darius actually just mentioned this. So click on the link in our description. It's going to take you to our masterclass, which you have to watch all the way through. And then you will be invited to apply to become one of our clients. And if you do qualify, then at that point, you will be able to schedule a time to meet with any one of our banking specialists.
Emotions are irrational and dangerous. And when using that as a way to make financial decisions, horrible. Love that, Pelly.
Money is a tool. Use it and do something to build, basically.
I am planning policy design today.
That's what's up. Let's see, what else are there? We want to make sure that we're able to address everyone. Coupons. Yeah, I feel you on the coupons, right? But I think it's still that situation. Okay, let me preface. Coupons are amazing because it does allow you to save a few dollars here or there, right? But you still have to spend money in order to get that purchase in the first place.
Yeah.
So always make sure that you're making a logical purchase and you're not just using the coupon to justify your spending. Good point, though. Working on my business and teaching myself to code. Investing protects my health, all while working. Anyways, apparently I'm struggling to read today. It's hard work, but my people, it's worth it. Perfect. So basically what I learned from that is that you're making money work, and that's exactly what you need to be doing. Keeping your money going. Clean up your credit reports. Yes, at the end of the day, you can talk about that, but what we're talking about is creating your own banking system so you're not dependent on the banks for funding. You become your own source of financing in that instance.
Yep. And Michael Bennett, shout out to Michael Bennett. Definitely subscribe to the channel and become a client. Success leaves clues. Yes, knowledge and application brings changes. Yes, sir. Love it.
We always say that. I'm in underwriting with you guys. So excited. That's what's up. Cheers to you. Thank you so much for choosing us. We just, again, we're just so humbled every day that we do a video and you guys are sitting here watching us and you like our videos. We really appreciate it because this is all the information that we share is the information that we wish we knew. And we're just sharing it with you as we continue to learn on our journey.
Yeah. And if you notice that a lot of the information that we share, we have a story with it, is because we like to share the experience experiences that we had.
Yeah.
So, our Gibson, have you guys done any videos specifically on infinite banking for paying current college costs?
Mm-hmm.
No, we haven't, because we haven't used infinite banking to pay off our college debt. So what we really, really want to do is stay true to the experiences that we had, so we can talk from experience.
Yeah.
And
we paid off our student loan debt the first go round.
Yeah.
Before we got into debt the second time. So we just used straight cash then, because that's when we were part of the Financial Beast University. that is what it is. So what we used banking for was to pay off the second round of debt, which was our real estate business that we got into.
Right. And we're using it for investing.
How much are your t-shirts and coffee mugs? If you just look on our channel and click on the tab where it says store, you can see all of our clothes there. Thank you for the swag. Shout out. Go ahead and get you some Wealth Nation swag so we can be twinning, and go from there. So again, if you all are still with us, go ahead and hit that like button. The engagement is really important for the growth of our channel. We appreciate you all rocking with us. Again, the name of the game today is do not be emotional with your spending.
Especially if you want to control your money. If you don't want to control your money, continue doing what you're doing. But if you do want to control your money and you don't want your money controlling you, make sure you make logical decisions. Make sure you have a plan in place before you walk into that store.
And also ask yourself 2 questions before you swipe, before you spend any cash. And that is, can I afford this? And do I need this? And that should help you really be able to streamline that Target shopping cart when you get to the checkout.
You can ask yourself those questions in any order.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. So if you want to continue to build upon your infinite banking system or want to know more about this process, then check out our next video where you learn all about infinite banking and how to create your own banking system. And remember to own your own lifestyle.
Or someone else will.